Yeah, so once again, I'm coming on live. I've been ripping and running the last couple weeks, but it's all good. I think we're in a good place now. I'm trying to get Sakima Bay on tonight, but I don't know. He might be busy or something. But I did reach out to Shaq, and it's kind of fun. I reached out to him today because some breaking news just happened about 30 minutes ago. So, Shaq, how you doing tonight?
Oh, peace and blessings, brother.
Hmm. What's going on out there?
Oh man, it's still hot as hell. It's
Hmm.
still hot down in Texas.
Yeah, kind of
You
hot
know.
down here. 95 today, 97. On the computer screen, it shows 87 right now. So kind of hot. But hey, DMX had an album, man. It's called It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Didn't he have an album like that?
Oh, that sounds very familiar.
Had a song called Damien talking about him going to hell and stuff. You think you remember DMX?
Mm-hmm.
So, just like 30 minutes ago, they said the FBI has raided the home of former President Donald Trump. FBI. FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. But every time I look around, it seems like the FBI is becoming a political hit list. Don't you agree?
Hey man, that's
What did I tell you earlier
sound like
today?
a little abuse of power to me.
What did I tell you earlier today? The IRS is going to, with this new climate bill or whatever, not climate bill, so-called Inflation Act, is going to hire 87,000 new agents or plus.
Now, are they
Now,
American agents? Are these agents American?
they didn't say that. I don't know who,
Now,
but
these are the questions that need to be asked. Are they American agents? Would all the people in America need to get back to?
well, I'm going to tell you they're probably not going to be because they also had an article on Fox News where they're talking about try finding that many people to work for you. The 87,000 new agents. They said and like Biden said, we're going after the big watchdogs who have been committing pandemic fraud. No, they coming after your ass and my ass. They ain't worried about no cop. Oh, we're going to make you corporations pay your fair share. You ain't gonna do nothing pass on to consumer, buddy. Stop lying. We're gonna make you pay your fair share. Finally, the rich are gonna pay. Now, question. You talking about billions and billions of dollars of spending. You just gave $1 billion away to Ukraine again, billions to Ukraine again today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ukraine got to be the biggest goddamn money grip of all time, baby. Like a prostitute smacking his hoe or something, man. I don't know what's up. Right? What's going on here, man? Ukraine getting money all the time, man.
Mm.
Ukraine getting more money than you and me. Matter of fact, the whole U.S.
Must not be for us to figure it out, man. It's unexplainable.
I look at it like this, man. It's a lot of corruption going on. But when I heard about the 87,000 new IRS agents, I said, wait a minute, man. We really got to talk about that. So I'm going to let you talk about it because I already got that advance. The IRS is an illegal entity to start with. It's not supposed to be monitoring me and you. It's supposed to be monitoring citizens. Not supposed to be for companies. Not they shouldn't be going after regular people.
Corporations, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Corporate welfare getting the benefit. Not the regular people. So
Well, yeah, because it's the equivalent of a masked man getting robbed and jacked by a masked assailant. You don't know who's up under the mask. You just know it's a stick up. You don't know
it's a
where it's
stick
coming
up.
from. You don't know where it's coming from. Yeah, you just know it's a stick up.
Mm.
You try to protect yourself, but you just don't know when it always catch you when you're most vulnerable. This
Catch me
particular
anymore.
thief, yeah, this particular thief, you think you got your back covered, they just think when you're comfortable, bam, he jump out on you.
You know what it
and
shows
stick
me?
you up. Hmm?
Yeah, but it shows me that we don't really have a lot of we just gotta be more educated on these things, Shaq. Don't you agree?
Well, they keep us so bogged down and tied up and distracted with so much vanity and materialism and symbolism that it's hard to see through the smoke when the smoke is there,
And
right?
maybe
It's hard
also
to see through the smoke screen. They keep us distracted. They keep enough distracted.
why are we
For
distracted?
the most part.
You know why we distracted? We watching stuff like
Please,
what's the clown name? We worry about Will Smith, what he doing or whatever. LeBron James, Brittany Griner. Well, matter of fact, speaking of Brittany Griner, by the way, she got some time, 9.5 years. But
well, I want to bet you right now that she ain't gonna do it. She ain't gonna do a day past a year. She probably ain't gonna. She can. I want to say within the next couple months, so she be coming home.
yeah, probably so. But hey, we a lot of us. I look at it like this: some of us wanted to come home, and some of us don't. Some of us ain't really worried about Brittany Griner right now. I got more things to worry about than Brittany Griner. Don't you think, brother?
Of course, you got to worry about shit. Is your well, you stay in a home, your own home, but people that stay in properties that rent, is your rent gonna go up? Is these property management companies, these property companies, are they going to continue to raise the rent up? Are these stores, corporations, are they continuing to raise their prices up? What are they what are they what are they trying to do to us, man? It seemed like it's the perfect storm. Seemed like 2020 was the perfect storm, a perfect storm for everything to fall in place per se.
Let me pull up some articles right quick. I want to just bring some things into play here. Let me bring this stuff up. Damn, we got a pocket here, brother. Hold on for a minute. Let me pull this up for you. Get your honest assessment, as they say. All right. Start with the first thing. So let me where's my little thing? Because the assholes they like to censor everything. So let me be nice to them. Give them their fair use copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Fair use for purposes of criticism, common news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute, otherwise might be infringing. Cool. So let's get to this little thing right here. Let's just go through this. Donald Trump says homes raided by former federal agents. Yeah. He said the president of law enforcement was unannounced, and the reason was politically motivated. Though he not proud. My home was raided by a large group of federal agents in a lengthy email statement by Save Malaria Completely. After working to cooperate with relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid of my home was not necessarily appropriate. Trump's involvement in inciting the mob that ransacked the U.S. Capitol. That's a trick word, too. In his second impeachment, is the subject of the House committee examining the event is part of a federal criminal investigation. So he is not at Mar-a-Lago. He is in New Jersey, as they say right now. So that's that. Well, Chaq, what do you think about the article right there?
They got video?
Of what?
Well, the
Are they
rating.
reading at home? Then you think they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's something we might need to see, brother. Don't you think?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, because they can tell us anything. Like, I mean, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying, for safety purposes, allegedly, his home was raided allegedly by the FBI because we have no video to back that up. This right now is hearsay. So, I don't know.
Well, that's
I
good.
just think it's strange now because it's like it says unprecedented type of behavior to go after an ex-president. Like, I can see if he was in another, I don't know, but it's just unprecedented for them to treat an ex-president like that,
I
no
was
matter.
like this. I'm looking in the bigger scope of things. Last week they went after who? Alex Jones. Now they're going after Donald Trump. So to me, it seemed like in the case of this confusion, they going after anybody that has I would say, conflicting argument. Would you?
But see, that's dangerous because they already tried to impeach the man when he was in office, right? Then you blaming. Now, see, the game that they're playing a very dangerous game because, but I know what they're doing. They're playing the numbers game. Like it's mob rule. It's the mob rule game. Like same thing they did with Bill Cosby, same thing they did with all, it's the public lynching thing. So they public lynch your character. So people pretty much they're gonna try to shame Trump up out of America. Really, that's what they're trying to do. They want to shame him up out of politics, shame him up out of America because of they feel butthurt because of when he was in administration. How he ran his administration. He pretty much brought in certain staff and stuff that he trusted. He was firing some people on FBI. So it's get back. To me, I say it's get back. This is my point of view, my POV. It's really white on white crime, to be honest, what's going on. That's what I call it, white on white crime, Mayo type of Mayo crime. But they just talk about it. They feel butthurt. Trump was administration, he was unveiling a lot of things, uprooting, unraveling a lot of things, what he say called draining the swamp, and yeah, it was a butthurt, and they determined to get him back. They felt shame. They determined to shame him, get him back. Publicly destroy him. Yeah, public destroy him, and but they're using, like I said, the federal government and stuff as a attack dog. But like I said, it's just get back from what he did when he got in office because they felt like I guess they feel like he was a traitor, like he betrayed the country, like because he was. But he claimed himself, man. He claimed himself cleaning the swamp, and it was just a lot of corruption going on. Not saying he might not have no corruption going on because politics is a dirty game. In general, it's just a dirty game globally, nationally. It's just a dirty game. It's nasty. It's dirty. I wouldn't want to be involved with it because there's so much cutthroatness in it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, things happen. You have casualties of war, what they call it. Collateral damage. All this, and I think this is collateral damage from whatever Trump is trying to do. They're definitely trying to stop him from running for the next term, or even before he even run, they're trying to stop that. Because they're looking at the polls, they seeing that people are leaning toward that way. Because they have did a crazy bang up job. This is one of the most schizophrenic administrations that I've ever really paid attention to. I never really paid attention to it, but just over the little years that I've paid attention to, it's been so much schizophrenia, so much sporadic behavior activity going on with this administration, and it's amazing to sit here and actually witness it in real time. And it feels like a game show. Feel like we in a movie. Feel like we sitting at the movies watching a movie. Only thing with this is we're actually part of the goddamn show.
All right, I'm gonna play this for you, okay, Shaq? I want you to hear this. I've been just going through a lot of research today about a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Let this soft mineral melt in your mouth to rebuild your gums and teeth, and never need a dentist again. People are fixing their.
Starbucks has hired former CI.
Copyright Act of 1976. This is no way meant to infringe. Okay, so I just want you to hear this.
IA collection management officer and intelligence analyst at Pinkerton, Amanda Stanfill, as its manager of global intelligence for retail operations. All those jobs sound made up. This comes as Starbucks management struggles to handle a massive nationwide unionization push from workers who say they're underpaid and mistreated. Katie, I wonder how Stanfield feels about Starbucks Workers United, and I think you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to make sure everyone knows about Pinkerton. Mm-hmm. So they were founded in 1850 as basically a detective agency, and they're somewhat notorious, as they should be, for spying on workers, acting as goons, being strike breakers, even actually participating in things that are considered massacres. But so now everyone knows who Pinkerton's is. And then the CIA, you obviously know the CIA is. But, you kind of can't make this up. I mean, I don't know what's more pathetic, that Starbucks has to hire CIA to, smash baristas, or that an ex-CIA has nothing better to do with their time than to smash baristas.
And but they have a lot of money to pay the ex-CIA.
That is true, yeah. And, Howard Schultz is worth $40 billion, and he's calling the CIA to stop unionization. He should call in the guys who went after, bin Laden next.
Well, so what's Starbucks' explanation for this hire?
I don't actually know if they have an explanation for it. I don't think they really were trying to advertise the fact that they went CIA Pinkerton. But, it's ridiculous. And what they're doing is, of course, they're trying to wokeify their anti-union efforts, as is so on brand for them. They actually have a website called onestarbucks.com. We are one Starbucks, where they're basically trying to dissuade people from joining unions. And they actually define what a union is. And they say it's a business. Unions are a business, just like.
All right, Shaq. What I'm getting here, I'm just letting you know. They actually got Starbucks was a coffee shop that hired CIA to go stop employees from making a union. Just talk about how crazy that sounds. Don't you think it's kind of crazy?
Wow.
CIA for them? You serious right now? What do you think, man?
Wow.
Interesting?
They hired the CIA to go stop them from creating their own union?
Well, they got an ex-CIA officer. They're a person that used to be in the CIA. They're getting them to do that.
Oh, they get them to do it. They help them.
Yeah, espionage,
formal
military tactics, espionage.
Well, we've been living in military science. If you pay attention, military science school, it's art of war. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, smart tactic. It's just that daggone. What I'm saying, IRS, all these entities. They got all these entities acting as a global, a global watchdog. Yeah, I can say that. I can say that. Just point that out. Let me get back to it. I'm going to play a little bit more of it, but that's okay.
Starbucks. Only unions make their money from member dues instead of great coffee.
You know what? Is there some truth to that from my perspective? Yeah, unions, like major big unions, but if you're conflating independent unions with the major big unions, like so for instance, the Amazon union founded by Chris Strauss, basically, it's not affiliated with any big labor organizations, and that's arguably the future of unions anyway.
Yeah, and they make it seem like they're not going to be able to, talk with management because of these unions, and with unions, let's see, what do they say? They work side by side. Yeah, so we can work together side by side, or we can work with you through a third party across a negotiating table. Side by side, we can hear your voice directly from you.
Total false dichotomy.
Yeah, total false dichotomy. And why do you think they need unions in the first place? Because they can't work side by side with them because Schultz is worth $40 billion and his workers have no leverage, basically. And that's the whole point of labor unions, the power of numbers. And I think that you and I can both make critiques of a lot of organized labor becoming big labor, sure. But even there, in theory, what they are spending their money on is advocating for workers.
In theory, right.
Yeah, and then as you said, with the rise of a lot of independent labor, and this is the future, it's only going to go that way more. I mean, this is just, again, it's the wokeification of exploitation and the wokeification of union busting.
It's so interesting because every time we talk about the Starbucks union on this program, I think about, like, first of all,
yeah, Shaq, I'm just trying to get to the point of this union thing. Like, it's kind of like, to me, it's more like they don't want you to have a lot of people thinking the same at one time. To me, that's really what that's more so about, to me. That's not really, I mean, it's just showing you the depths and level these people go. That's what it is. That's what I was trying to get to you.
Yeah, we're going through some tyrannical times, I'll tell you that. And they pushing hard, buddy.
Now this one is to help the parents, okay? So I want people to listen to this. This is bigger than that, okay? Because this could affect people in New York and D.C. I'm going to let this one rip, okay? I want you to hear this now.
All right, I'm standing here in front of the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., and inside is the first...
Let me read my thing again. Fair use. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1970 allows made for fair use purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute, otherwise may be infringing. Shaq, I need you to pay attention to this video.
Robbie, what is on your radar?
Well, the city of Washington, D.C. is moving forward with a requirement, unprecedented and essentially unique in all the country, that all kids ages 12 and older must be vaccinated for COVID-19 before returning to school this fall. The district's attitude is, quote, no shots, no school.
Paul Kinn, DC's deputy mayor for education, told the publication DCist last week that the city has, quote, every intention of following the law, and by that he means the city has every intention of forcing kids who are not vaccinated to miss more school. The city believes that more than 80% of kids in that category are already vaccinated, but that rate drops to just 60% of black students. In other words, students who are already disproportionately likely to have missed too much school or who are disproportionately likely to come from a disadvantaged economic background, well, they're a lot less likely to be vaccinated. Thus, we should make no mistake. A policy of enforcing COVID vaccinations for teenagers is a policy that will mean more black and brown kids missing out on school. Now, we talked about this on Rising last week, but it bears repeating. There is no legitimate scientific rationale for this policy. Otherwise, healthy young people are not at significant risk of a negative COVID health outcome. Most importantly, the vaccine is no longer a public health measure. It's a personal health decision. Vaccinated people can easily contract and transmit the virus. Breakthrough infections are now so common, we've ceased even calling them breakthrough infections. President Biden has been vaccinated, twice boosted, didn't stop him from getting the virus. COVID is super transmissible. Mitigation efforts can reduce your chances of contracting it to some degree, and the vaccine certainly helps at-risk people decrease their likelihood of severe disease and death, which is great. But the vaccine itself is just not offering any sort of reliable protection against infection. Against severe disease, yes. Against infection, no. The argument for vaccinating kids was supposed to be that even if the virus isn't so bad for them, well, they could spread it to a vulnerable member of the community, like a teacher or a janitor, etc. We vaccinate kids against a whole host of illnesses because we don't want outbreaks of disease in school environments. But look, the COVID vaccine doesn't work that way. It doesn't stop outbreaks of COVID. So the argument for mandating it is much weaker than the argument for mandating other vaccines that do stop transmission. Journalist David Zweig explained this expertly last week on our show. Let's watch.
Behind a mandate, we don't always or often mandate a medical product solely because of the purported benefit to the individual. The underlying reason why a school district would do it is to say, hey, we need you to have this thing done because you have an obligation to the community. But the vaccine isn't doing that to any degree on a large scale that would make sense, particularly so for children who've already been infected. I have not seen any data to show what the actual reduction is in severe disease or illness from a child being vaccinated versus a child who's healthy, who's already had COVID. We haven't seen any of that real world data yet.
And
now, so far, DC is basically the only school district in the country to require vaccination for this age category, 12 and up. Los Angeles had planned to do so, but they gave up when they saw the actual vaccination rates for these teenagers. My fear, though, is that school districts could at any point move to require COVID vaccination. They might also require vaccination for kids even younger. So far, the vaccine only has emergency approval from the FDA for kids 5 and older, so districts can't really mandate that. But once the vaccine has general authorization for 5-year-olds, well, then I would expect DC at least to require it for them as well. And we don't know what other districts could do in the future. Now, again, to be clear, if you want to vaccinate your child, you should absolutely be able to do so. But if a different family makes a different choice, that's okay. Shouldn't matter to you. Doesn't put you or your family at an increased risk to any appreciable degree. Now, one thing I noticed when I was doing research for this radar and looking into school vaccination policies is that New York City, while not having a blanket mandate, actually has one of the most ridiculous policies I've ever encountered, at least on paper. I don't know what they're doing in terms of enforcement, but New York City is not requiring the vaccine for all students. It is requiring the vaccine for students who play sports or participate in certain, quote, high-risk extracurricular activities. All DOE students, this is quoting from the New York City's health website, all DOE students and staff who participate in high-risk sports or competitive after-school sports must be vaccinated against COVID-19. Fully vaccinated means at least 2 weeks have passed after an individual received a single dose of a vaccine that requires only 1 dose or the second dose in a 2-dose series, one that's authorized by the FDA, et cetera, or the World Health Organization. A COVID-19 vaccination requirement also applies to students participating in high-risk after-school extracurricular activities like chorus, musical theater, dance team, band, orchestra, with special concern for woodwinds, marching band, cheerleading, flag team, etc. Students ages 5 and up must be vaccinated in order to participate in these extracurricular activities. So New York City isn't requiring students generally to get vaccinated, but all students 5 years and up will be forced to get jabbed in order to join the band or play a sport or do all sorts of things. Now, note the policy's language was high risk. What the city means, of course, is that it believes these are activities in which there's a high likelihood of COVID spreading, contact sports, playing a musical instrument, etc. Look, we all know by now that COVID is easily spread in all sorts of circumstances. And it's worth repeating, the vaccine does not proactively block the spread of COVID in these environments. If members of the marching band and the cheerleading squad are at a high risk of contracting the virus, that risk is not actually reduced meaningfully by vaccination. The severity of the disease might be reduced for the person who contracts it, though again, it's hard to see statistical improvements in this age category given how non-threatening COVID frankly is for the vast majority of kids. We do not want elementary, middle school, and high schoolers in our cities avoiding getting involved with sports and bands and teams because they're unvaccinated. Extracurricular activities are stabilizing forces for many kids. For at-risk youth, being involved in school groups makes them much less likely to engage in antisocial behavior, fall in with the wrong crowd, things like that. We want our kids in school. We want them to participate in a school-linked activity that they enjoy. That's how we create productive, socially well-adjusted young people. Accomplishing this is a compelling public health goal. New York City and the District of Columbia are risking undermining it for no good reason, certainly not for anyone's health. It puts the health of our entire society at risk, Batya, is my fear. The things we're doing just make no sense. And so we had talked about what DC is doing on the show last week, but you're in New York, so I don't know if you were aware of this. I hadn't looked closely enough at what New York's policy was going to be. That's a 5 and older policy. Maybe they're not enforcing it, but that's what it says. 5 and older policy to participate in all sorts of extracurricular activities that you want, but you want kids to do those things. They deserve to do those things. Whether they're vaccinated or not makes no difference, none whatsoever, to the public health situation in these schools.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I remember, right after the vaccine came out, 5 months later, something like that, when they made that mandate to enter restaurants, and suddenly Black friends of mine were telling me that they were being turned away from restaurants in blue cities in 2021. I mean, it's appalling. Now, Black children are going to be, just like you said, turned away from schools. Black children are going to be turned away from extracurricular activities. What are we doing here? And, Robbie, I wanted to ask you, because I'm so glad that you keep your finger on this and you keep pressing this. What is your explanation for why? Why are they doing this? Why can't they see how terrible this is, from a racial equity point of view, which they claim to be, like that is their number one issue.
Yes.
Why are they doing this?
It's some kind of delusion. It's some kind of tribal. This is the best I can tell. You have to be, if you're a good thinking, pro-science, Team Blue member, you have to be for, not just for vaccination, because I am for vaccination. I've said that I think there are significant benefits of vaccination for many populations, for at-risk people, for elderly people, and that I think the vaccine should. I don't like when the FDA drags its feet on this stuff. I absolutely think I would have moved faster on allowing families to vaccinate their kids if they want to. So it's not to my mind, when we talked to David Zweig last week, he said the same thing. It's not like it's crazy to call them anti-vaccine. All he's saying is that there's no rationale to require this.
Well, Chaq, I was just putting that up to show you that you were saying the tyranny continues, as they would say, right? What do you think?
Well, they explained it perfectly. They said that these liberals, left liberals, these people say that they all for racial equality or all inclusive and equality, but then again they keep marginalized certain group of people, which I mean the Black people, so-called Black folks, Black children, Black people in general. These low-income urban neighborhoods, these low-income cities, so-called AKA urban areas. They still haven't made it, and they keep hollering about healthcare. They keep hollering about healthcare, making affordable healthcare. Well, they ain't made it affordable to the people that need it. Absolutely, because
healthcare, right? Yeah, healthcare, right? Yeah,
it's death care because you're not doing anything to actually help the people. To be honest, you just want to push your drugs. All this information is saying is just take our drugs. That's all it's saying. Just take our drugs, believe in us, and take our drugs, whether they work or not. Just take our drugs. Medically, just take our drugs. Right? Don't care about what the outcome is. What are the side effects can possibly do long term, short term to you, to your body, right? Not give you any instructions of what you should eat or not eat with it, what you should take, what you shouldn't take with it while you own it, what activities you are able to participate with while you currently administer this drug has been administered to you, right? And for my information, Bernard, these major manufacturers of this particular vaccine, right? AKA so-called vaccine. My recollection, are they not amateurs in making vaccines?
Hey, it's a good question. Hey, look, let me tell you something. Most of them not even public health experts. Now I got to get to a big topic, a big one. Since, last night we had a show where we were talking about religion and so much stuff. Thank you, Bishop, for being in the chat. Matter of fact, I'm glad you're in the chat, brother. Glad you're in the chat.
Salute, Bishop. Salute.
We had a big topic on religion, right? And this was one of the this ain't so much about religion what I'm bringing up. But I'm going to bring up something that a pastor said, and it got me just like, I said, this is perfect. I can't believe this fool said this. And I'm able to bring more fuel to the fire of what he said. So let me pull up our buddy of the National Action Network, or the National Act Network, because he ain't nothing but an actor, right? He said the Bible would endorse abortion because it's about choice. It's Al Sharpton now. All right.
But okay.
Back much in the same way. There was a Gallup poll back, I think it was the fall of 2020, showing the Black community has slowly become more accepting of abortion over the past couple of decades. But there are deeply held religious beliefs playing into this, especially with older Black voters who are incredibly reliable and incredibly important to Democrats. So how should Democrats be thinking about this? Because obviously they want and need to hold on to those voters.
I think that they must message it in a way that it is about choice. It's not about saying I'm voting that I support abortion or not. It's about I support people having the right to choose. Because we're not talking particularly in the Black community, and I would say large portions of the Latino community. You're not talking about whether or not people are going to be able to have an abortion. You're talking about whether they're going to have a safe abortion. We always had abortions, but we had these back alley, very risky abortions. And we're saying that rather than have people in those situations, they should be able to choose whether or not they want to do, even if it's something that I don't believe in. The Bible, if you're using this as a religious argument, the Bible is about choice. You can go to heaven or hell. There's nowhere in the Bible said you had to go to heaven. So where do we get this theology of forcing something when the reality is that you can't even biblically base that? It's a question of choice. If you are a minister, as I am, you can preach to people to convert them. You do not make laws to compel them.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's one. Hey, that's a classic right there, brother. What do you think about that?
It's funny. It's funny they back with this.
That's a classic.
Well,
that's not a classic right there. Oh man, that's one of the best mic drops I heard in a while, man.
That's mighty funny and unusual that he used the word choice. They should have the right to choose, but just prior to this, these same nuts are telling us that our Black and so-called Black children are going to be forced to take a jab. That ain't a choice. That's not a choice. So you're gonna tell me? And why is we talking about choice?
Hold on. It is.
What's the choice?
No school. So hey, I homeschool my own child, so you still got a choice.
No, but they still forcing you to saying we're gonna force you to take it, or you're not gonna be able to come to school. That's an ultimatum. That's not a choice. And why is these Democrats? Why is they talking about that's the main issue? Nobody worrying about no boy. They trying to make it seem like everybody is thinking about getting pregnant and worrying about having a fucking abortion. Who? Ain't nobody worrying about having no goddamn abortion, man. You acting like people just ready to get married. I mean, get pregnant to have abortions. If you get pregnant, okay, you might. Why they not saying? Why they not promoting proper health? Why they not promoting preventative health, abortion care? Why? If you're saying that people have the choice to choose whether they want to keep murder their baby or not, right? Terminate the pregnancy or proceed with it. Why are you not promoting preventative, right? Pregnancy measures to take. Show them how to have sex proper. They're trying to throw on LGBT sex to the children, which I think is weird. I think it's strange. I think it's disrespectful to the parents. For you grown adults to push sex, you don't even want to push heterosex on the children, right? You don't even want to teach them the right way to do it. So you're gonna teach them all the wrong ways to do it. I mean, once again, it's a fickle-minded administration. absolutely absurd, the shit that they implement to the people. Because on one hand, they double talk. On one hand, they're saying you should have the right to choose. But then on the other hand, they're saying, no, we're going to tell you what drug you need to take. You need to take our drug or else. So you can't on one hand tell me that women should have the choice to choose. They can have the choice to choose if they want to murder their baby or not. But on the flip side, it's okay for you to force, curse the black community, because they ain't mentioned nothing about no white folks. They ain't mentioned nothing about the white society, about forcing them to take the jabs anymore. They ain't mentioned nothing about that shit. It's all about black and brown. Oh, you niggas gonna have to take these jabs.
Hold on, man. Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Hold on, man.
I'm overjoyed. After an 18-point defeat of the measure that would have stripped abortion rights from the state's constitution, Democrats are hoping to take the post-Roe backlash and conserve.
This is fair use. In no way this right to infringe Fair Use Act of 1976. I want you to hear this, though. This is interesting. Since he mentioned it, I had to go pull this up.
Kansas nationwide.
Kansas was just the start. If it's going to happen in Kansas, it's going to happen in a whole lot of states.
Turnout more than doubled recent midterm primaries in Kansas, approaching presidential levels on an issue where Republicans have historically had the enthusiasm advantage.
I'm astounded.
Our movement has endured so much over 50 years. This setback is not going to stop us.
Kansas Republican Senator Roger Marshall called the result a gut punch.
It tells us that there were a lot of people interested in the issue in Kansas. There's no question about it.
Already this week, Democratic candidates are making it clear on the airwaves that they're all in.
He supports a total ban.
I'm right.
You make it illegal, you punish the doctors.
Blake Masters, too dangerous for Arizona. Millions of women lost their right to choose. Higgins celebrated because she wants to make abortion illegal.
Abortion will be directly on the ballot in a handful of states, including battleground Michigan, where a pending ballot measure would enshrine abortion rights with a constitutional amendment. And Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer is trying to make her race against Republican Tudor Dixon a referendum on abortion rights.
Rape, incest, no exceptions except
life in the mother.
Is that you solid there?
That's where I'm solid.
On Friday in Indiana, Governor Eric Holcomb signed a near total ban on abortion. The first state post-Roe to pass sweeping restrictions. The law ends legal abortion completely in Indiana, which has been allowed at up to 22 weeks of pregnancy. But it does include exceptions for the life of the mother, fatal fetal anomalies, and some exceptions for rape and incest, which some Indiana House and Senate Republicans tried to remove completely.
And does this apply to a fifth grader who has been a victim of incest?
It does.
In the end, Indiana Republicans splintered, and they were unsuccessful. Looking to the fall, national Republicans are still counting on inflation in the economy to define the electoral map.
They don't have a plan to solve the inflation that they created.
But as Democrats work to turn individual races into referendums on abortion rights, some Republican candidates, worried about their party's move to the right, are softening their own positions.
No exceptions for rape or incest?
Unless your mother's life is in danger.
But now?
If I've been unclear previously, I want to be clear now. Rape and incest, along with endangering the mother's mental or physical health, are acceptable exceptions.
I don't give way for exceptions either. But people of Pennsylvania, you decide what abortion looks like. You decide on exceptions.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
What do you think about that?
Hey, we live in a sick, demonic world because they're telling them it's okay to kill your baby no matter what. And what's so sick about this, Bernard, what you just played, because they put no effort and no authority, no immediate action and penalties for a so-called perpetrator who is a rapist and a a serial incester, if that even is a word, I just made it up, right? Why they not putting the penalty on these people that you just throwing around rape, or what if a 5th grader get raped or incest? Why you ain't going after the perpetrator if that's happening? What you worried about? You worried about killing the baby? Why you ain't worried about taking care of the damn making severe penalties for rapists? Why we not talking about rapists? Why we not talking about these people with this incest? If this incest and this raping is going on, we have a bigger problem than damn abortion. We have a problem with sick mothers who want to have pedophiles who want to have sex with children. Why are we not talking about them? Why they not being locked up? Why they not being drugged out in the media and shamed and bullied? But you're gonna bully people into taking your sick drugs, taking drugs. A newfound drug that ain't really been tested. It ain't been out long enough to even get all the results into it. So you're just gonna encourage people to take it. But it's okay to say, well, if you get raped or incest, we do want you to have the option to abort that baby instead of going after the perpetrator. They're sick, man. We live this world. These people are sick, but these are the people that you blue voters voted for, the Democrats. Y'all got to eat cake on this because this is a bunch of malarkey, man. It's bullshit because they fluffing. They pulling out. It's a lot of fluff, and they throwing out all the red flags, and they setting up a precedent for a sick and demonic nation. We already there.
Well, let me bring something up. Hold on. That was just one clip. Let me bring up one more. See, it's a good topic I can talk about right here, cuz. Let me bring up one more. You're going to love this. This is Gayle King right here. Hold on now. I ain't done yet. Hold on. Hold tight, brother. Just relax. So we're going to get on this issue because Al Sharpton wanted to open the firestorm for me.
What happens when the prostate enlarges and the urine channel it's tight? You cannot be certain how fast it will grow and choke your urethra.
One of Indiana's largest employers is...
This is fair use Act of 1976. I'm using this right to infringe. This is for education purposes only. Oh, my bad. Let me share the screen. I ain't put it up there yet, brother. Sorry.
Sharing its concerns after the state passed a near total ban on abortions. Now, Indiana is the first state to pass such a measure since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The pharmaceutical giant, that's Eli Lilly and Company, warned this: we will be forced to plan for more employment growth outside our home state as state laws change across the country. Now, doctors are becoming increasingly concerned. They're very worried about what they can and cannot do for their patients. So we spoke to 4 OBGYNs from Arizona, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Georgia about how state abortion laws create a lot of confusion, and all of them expressed concerns the new laws will put their patients' health at risk.
As soon as we heard the decision, we closed everything down, leaving over 70 women in Wisconsin with appointments that we weren't able to do for them. We've been preparing. It didn't make it any more devastating.
I remember asking, when is the law going to change? How much time do we have to get ready for it? And they started to text back and say, the law has actually changed right now.
I've lived in the South for most of my life. This is my community, and I'm very concerned about the ability of my patients, my community, to access the care that we need.
When medicine is criminalized, physicians are scared to do the jobs they're trained to do, and that absolutely impacts patient care.
People are very quick to talk about how these abortion restrictions have medical emergency exceptions, but for us as clinicians actually practicing on the ground, those exceptions just don't really make sense. Now, many of those options have been taken away, and that is just unbearable for all of us.
Some women will have what we call a spontaneous miscarriage, where they start to miscarry on their own.
We have to counsel them that they may get very sick, that they may develop a life-threatening infection, and it could potentially cost them their lives. You can't make a one-size-fits-all definition or law that can take all of these situations into account.
We're seeing issues in labor and delivery, for example, of women with pre-viable pregnancies that come in with infection that need to be delivered. And so there's a lot of back and forth as to how sick does the patient need to be to get delivered?
Does she have to develop an infection? Can we intervene before she develops an infection?
How sick does she have to be before the staff felt comfortable delivering her because of this law hanging over our head?
If someone who's pregnant comes in after getting in a car accident or comes in with an inflamed appendix, are doctors going to be afraid to get imaging, to take them to surgery if they need surgery? Because with those treatments, there is a chance that you could inadvertently cause an abortion.
What if someone has cancer and they're not going to die right then? But because they don't receive abortion care, they don't receive the usual cancer care that they would receive, and thus they die from their cancer 5 years later. Is that a life that we could have saved?
Doctors are having to figure out, does this fit under the law? Am I going to be criminalized for intervening?
I think physicians are afraid that they will be accused of providing abortion care when really they're providing miscarriage management.
I think my greatest fear is how our patients are going to be able to get the care they need.
It means so much to me to be able to take care of my patients, and they are suffering because of this. Suffering economically, suffering, their families are suffering, their futures will suffer, but some of them are going to die, and they could be saved. That's a travesty.
Another big concern is misinformation, the doctors say. One of them we spoke to said she heard from a pregnant patient who is too afraid to get the medical care. Why? Because she fears that her health will be sacrificed for her unborn child. OBGYNs are also concerned that doctors will now leave their states and create even more of a healthcare vacuum. You know, the doctors on the ground, guys who are doing the work, have a very important voice in this conversation. They laid out different scenarios I never thought about before.
Yeah.
They deal with all the time.
And we have to understand because there's no uniformity, there is confusion for these doctors. All the while, there's lives at risk. The mother and the baby.
Yeah, it's clearly a lot more complicated than you think. You just read the headlines.
And this is government getting in between the relationship of the patient and their doctor. And doctors don't know what to do. Right.
All right, to be sorted out. We'll keep following it. In the meantime, we will be right back with more CBS Mornings.
All right. That's that. I just wanted to point that out to you, brother. Now, I'm like on the bottom of that screen actually had a definition of what an abortion was on there, which I found that kind of comical. They were telling me what the definition was. But it is what it is. But nevertheless, more BS. But they actually are telling you how to kill a baby, though. It is what it is. Oh, by the way, it's not murder. It's not murder. It's your right to choose. My fault.
Well, look here. They are pulling on all type of stops and really telling women. And I peeped the show, right? I was watching when this ruling first came, maybe a couple weeks after the ruling first came out, right? I would watch the Kelly and Ryan show, right? And they had this guy come on, and it was very slick and clever how they really threw it out there. They had him come on, and they was talking about, what was they talking? It was something they was talking about. They was talking about melatonin and something. It was something they was fixing. But the dude ended up telling people that, yeah, but he slipped it in there, Bernard, and mentioned that too much melatonin, like, it's a contraception. I was like, what? So he really threw it in and told him, really gave a hint how to, terminate a pregnancy or not get pregnant. I'm like, that was slick. That was slick. So some people you can overdose on melatonin. I think melatonin, I think that's what it is. Melatonin, yeah. Because you can use that to go to sleep with. Some people give it to their babies to sleep when they have sleep problems. And yeah, he was saying that, and it was in something he was fixing. But he ended up saying, well, yeah, if if you don't know the correct dosage, you can overdose. You know, a certain amount of dose you're supposed to get 200 milligrams or some shit. If you go over, it can be considered a contraceptive. So they're throwing hints out on how to not get pregnant or how to basically commit abortion and shit. Which, hey, it is what it is. My question would be is, why are we telling people if you don't want to get pregnant, don't get pregnant?
Right.
Okay, what? Okay, rape. Okay, cool. Or you might, you know, but if you don't want to get pregnant, why get pregnant then? Why don't practice safe sex? You don't know when you're ovulating? Why don't they go to the OBGYN and figure out when is the ovulation? When is they, you know, when they're ovulating and shit? Right? That's another way you can prevent pregnancy. Right? I'm just trying to understand, Bernard. All these other preventative measures they are not teaching and not saying public. Now they might be getting this. They may get this information when they actually go to one of those Planned Parenthoods and sit down with a counselor. I don't know what the procedure is when you go to there because they do say they offer other so-called healthcare options, healthcare for women and stuff. You know, pre-parents and all this preteen and stuff. But we just living in the world right now, man. And I'm trying to understand why are they feeding this to so-called black folks? Because if we already at 13% and you already talking about terminating a baby, what voting block would you have in the future anyway? Make that make sense?
You're right.
Huh? What voting block would you have in the future if you continue to abort children? Just abort them. Let me get pregnant. Just abort them. What power would you have? You're going to extinct yourself. Because think about this. They pushing drugs on people that's already here, that's living, right? They want to push drugs on the young children, right? They're pushing drugs on the adults. The elderly people, they're pushing medical drugs on them, right? So if we already sick and high and everything, that means it's like they trying to curse us to be extinct, to extinct ourselves if we're not reproducing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Make that make sense to me, dude. But these are the same people that's friends, so-called the black folks, low-income people. They're supposed to be friends too. They're supposed to be the liberal. Your body, your choice. Only when they say so, though. Your body, your choice only when they say so. Schizophrenic. It's a schizophrenic administration. Bipolar. Just sit back and listen to all the stuff you played. I wish people go back and look at those videos and listen to see how they all over the place with this stuff. You talking about the main thing, we got midterm coming. The main thing y'all talking about is abortion, reproductive care. Man, people, it's damn near gonna be homeless. Hell, you gonna damn near have a baby in a goddamn grocery cart, a grocery damn buggy. You ain't have nowhere to stay. Why they ain't talking about bringing these prices down on some of these rent properties, mortgages, and interest rates and stuff? I'm just asking a question because they telling us what's important. How you didn't ask me what was important? I don't think that's important. So how are you going to tell me? And that's what these blue ones keep telling from get-go. This nigga came in, Joe Brokeback Biden came in and told us from get-go, you ain't black if you don't vote for him. So obviously, they know what they got in store for your black ass.
All right. Let me bring up another topic. I already pulled it up. This probably be like, no, you know what? All right. Let me see. All right. More than 60% of voters are concerned with cheating in the midterm elections. What do you think? Interesting, huh?
Say it again.
More than 60% of voters are concerned with cheating in the midterm elections. Of course, they're saying with monkeypox, something could happen, shut it down. They also say that 1 in 5 of these people having sex with gay men. Matter of fact, I got one more clip to play before we done. That's right.
Hold on. Say that again.
You heard what I said?
Stack it again.
You heard what I said?
1 in 5 people with monkeypox had sex with.
It's hold tight, brother. It's hold tight. Don't just relax. Don't worry about it, brother. See, I got to bring up. See, this is stuff I'm talking about, man. This is why I like coming over with you, man. I can bring y'all. I'm about to throw some haymakers at people's party, man, tonight. Besides, I might have another party coming on. Hold tight, bro.
Bring them on. The more the merrier. That's what they want. They don't want us to get together and have these ciphers, man. They want us to be separated and at odds with each other, arguing with each other and fighting with each other.
Yeah. Hold on for a minute. I'm trying to find it for you. Okay.
Lightsabers are finally a reality, and you can own one. This new military flashlight is basically a lightsaber that fits in your pocket. But be warned, this $600 flashlight is not a toy. It's so powerful that it can melt through anything. It can even start a fire.
Copyright Act of 1976. This is where information could otherwise be infringed. Just want y'all to hear this now. I want y'all to hear this, and I'm going to leave it at that. This is very interesting.
Black and White Network supporters, make sure you check out the Black and White Network merchandise store.
Link in the description. Use promo code USA First, all one word. USA First, all one word. 25% off now.
Black and White Network fans, we are back with another video, and we're going to be talking about the POTS here in this video. As you guys know, Joe Biden has declared a state of emergency when it comes to the monkeypox. Now, folks, the midterms are right around the corner. It is. And I do believe that the government wants to weaponize this thing. Joe Biden wants to weaponize this thing. But we're starting to find out quite a few things here about the POTS, as we'll call it here in this video. And folks, there is some very, very disturbing stuff here about the POTS. Now, me, myself, I'm actually worried about getting the POTS. No, I am not. Because the POTS seem to only be affecting gay men. Gay men who actually have sex with other men. So I'm definitely not afraid of getting this thing. I'm a heterosexual male. I know that's a dirty word to the left. They don't like straight men. But I am a straight man. But over here on the Daily Caller, folks, this is some stuff, folks, that not many people are really talking about. You're not actually going to find this from the mainstream media, but let's dive into this. 1 in 5 gay men who got monkeypox had sex with 10 or more people before getting infected, CDC says. So these people, man, gay men, were having a lot of parties, and not just 10 people, by the way. It's not that it's necessarily the 10 people. It's the amount of people within a 3-week period. These people were having sex with like 10 or more men within 3 weeks. Folks, I call that immoral behavior right there. That is a ton of sex partners. That is 20% right there. Let's read this, guys. Nearly 20% of gay men who are contracting monkeypox in the U.S. reported having 10 or more partners in the 3 weeks before symptom onset, according to a new Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, report. virtually all monkeypox cases in the U.S., which have data available, 99% are in men. The report also found, and 94% are in men who have sex with other men. The overwhelming majority had multiple sex partners in the weeks leading up to their symptoms. This is just crazy, man. Crazy. In addition to the 19% of men who said they had 10 or more partners over the 3 weeks preceding symptoms, 40% reported having 2 to 4 partners, and 14% reported 5 to 9 partners. 38%.
All right, Shaq, I gotta play a little bit of it. I'm gonna let you go ahead and cut in what I told you yesterday about all this. Did I not? Hey, you said get the butt plug, didn't you?
Hey, man. Well, they're going to have to mandate the butt plugs. I think they need to mandate the butt plugs.
It's a health emergency, right?
It's a health emergency. That's what they,
So
yeah, it is.
What? You need to use all alternatives. Correct.
Yes, sir. Plug your ass. Plug them up, baby. Cork them. Put a cork in them. If they can't sit down and be...
You heard what he said. Up to 10 men in a 3-week span.
And they say it could be more than that. But that's just what they, I guess, you know. I don't know what they measure that off of, but wow. How can they walk? God damn.
Walking corpse, walking dead, man.
Hey, how can they walk, man? You get screwed in your exit hole that much. How can you walk? They got to be in wheelchairs. They must be having wheelchair sex. God, dog. Is it that serious, man? It's sex that is pleasure that because that ain't sex. That's just pleasure time. That's just pleasuring at this point. Which is their prerogative.
Let me bring some more up here. Hold on, don't hold the phone, brother.
Reported having sex at a festival, group sex, or sex party. So the people that are mainly getting this disease. These people are sleeping around like crazy. Like crazy. They are the main people that are getting the pox. Sexually irresponsible people. I mean, folks, who in their right mind actually is sleeping with 10 or more people, 10 or more different people within 3 weeks? I call this definitely immoral behavior.
Do you love boating?
Oh, shit.
Well, Freedom Boat Club makes boating easier than ever. At Freedom Boat Club,
the data was pulled from a sample of 358 men who contracted monkeypox, for which data was available on recent sexual behaviors. That represents about 12% of all confirmed monkeypox cases in the U.S. between May 17th and July 22nd. The time period which the report covers. Age and gender identity data was available for 41% of all cases nationwide. Now, I do want to be clear. Monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted disease, but however, almost all cases that are getting reported, it comes from sexual contact for the most part. This is very, very disturbing, folks. Disturbing. This is crazy. Of the 334 cases for which HIV status was known, 41% of patients were HIV positive. Only 8% of patients were hospitalized, and there were no reported deaths. There remain 0 confirmed deaths caused by monkeypox in the US or Europe in 2022. Yeah. We're not hearing about any deaths whatsoever. Okay. This is not like COVID. Okay. COVID is an airborne virus that you can catch. This monkeypox thing is actually like a skin-to-skin contact. It's not a sexually transmitted disease, but there's a lot of sexual transmission that is actually causing this disease because it's a skin-to-skin contact. The Biden administration declared a public health emergency due to monkeypox last week after the WHO had already done so in July.
All right. Well, first part, let me bring something up. Number one, they already told you who declared an emergency. The World Health Organization. That's the number one deal out of the deal. That's the first problem we got. So that's that. But I just want to say it's an emergency, and I just show you, they're telling you basically, but now they're saying, oh, Black and Hispanic people are disproportionately catching the monkeypox. I say, here we go again. Let's run the script one more time. Play it back and wrap the rag around. Bring it on back. And then move it to your right. Then move it to your left. You know the song. They're doing it again. Same script.
Now, you see that?
Same actors.
Now, what's up with the double talk? You say it's not really a sexually transmitted virus or contraction, but it is skin-to-skin contact. You have to be more. This is what? Stop. Slow down. Tell the people what's really going on. Stop with these damn broad, ambiguous terms. Right? It's not skin. It's not sex, but it is skin. You can contract from skin to skin. Okay, what skin? Is it some in their body? Right? Can you give somebody a handshake and contract monkeypox?
You got a point there.
I'm asking because when you say skin to skin, that is skin to skin, and we do know the skin is the biggest organ in the body. But you're saying that it's 99% prevalent in gay men. You didn't even say gay women. You said gay men sex. Then you turn around and tell me it's not, but it's not a gay sex virus. Wow. It's not a sex virus. Sexually transmitted virus or whatever.
Well,
my brain, once again, schizophrenic. My brain, maybe I'm looking for the different word. What's another word?
According to them, you're a conspiracy theorist, so what's the problem?
Well, if I'm a conspiracy theorist, then I would hate to see what they call themselves with this information they giving out.
Well, let me bring this up to you, brother. Like I said, this has all been very entertaining. As they say, right? This has all been very entertaining. And I think you once again come on. Matter of fact, I'm about to do another show. Maybe about the next hour, maybe less. So I'm gonna call y'all there. See if you want to join that one too. But it is what it is, right?
Man, yeah.
But like I said, I'm on fire tonight. It's on fire tonight. You know the song called "Do the Water Dance" is on fire tonight, right? But nevertheless, go ahead and shout your information, brother.
All right, Bernard, it's always a pleasure to come on and chop it up with you, man. Get some of these topics out, conversations, thought-provoking conversations. But you guys can check your boy out on CLE Smooth 81 at Instagram, and check me out at Chaq Edwards on Facebook. I'll be on time to time. Posting, sharing, and commentary. I might do a couple live videos. Check me out. Holler at your boy. You know what I mean?
All right, I'm gonna get a call in a couple minutes. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get a call soon. Come on, y'all can give me King BJ Johnson, YouTube, KingBJMedia.com, KingBJFitness.com. Hey, look, the battle's here, and they coming in super fast. So we gotta just.
You better get your sword. You better get your sword and shield because
they're not coming like a thief in the night. They coming like a roaring lion. So we gotta come like a hippopotamus and stop the head. Or like an elephant, use our tusk or something. Sword, tusk, don't matter what you got. You got to use something to knock them down. So with that being said, you take your time, brother.
All right, peace.
Yes, sir.